source material. So, okay, let's unpack this. Because our goal isn't just talk about walking, like the physical act of moving your legs.
Right, it's way deeper than that.
Yeah, we are deconstructing this simple 10:30 a.m. walk into its core sensory layers. We really want to show how paying deliberate attention transforms this mundane routine into a profound sense of connection and joy.
And it really is the perfect mission for today. What we are examining in this deep dive is basically a blueprint.
A blueprint for everyday life.
Exactly. And the absolute beauty of this blueprint is that it requires absolutely no money, no specialized activewear.
No $200 shoes.
Right, and no membership fees. It is tailored perfectly for you, the listener, especially if you are someone who craves those sudden, those aha moments of clarity in everyday life.
But maybe you're totally overwhelmed by the idea of adding like a complicated 45-minute mindfulness routine to your schedule.
Which most of us are. I mean, we are just stripping away the excess here and looking at the raw mechanics of human perception.
I think we all really need that right now. Like if you're listening to this while commuting, or maybe you're just staring at a spreadsheet and suddenly realizing your shoulders are all the way up around your ears.
We've all been there.
This deep dive is for you. So let's start where our experience of the world usually begins, which is the visual foundation.
Setting the scene.
Right. The scene painted in our sources starts with the macro environment. We are in a park, and not just a tiny patch of grass, but a big, expansive green park.
The wide shot, basically.
Yeah, exactly like a movie director setting up a scene. We start with the wide shot. The weather conditions are really specifically noted. It's a bright sun, but the source explicitly says it is, quote, bright, but not burning.
That's a crucial detail.
And up in the sky, we have these soft white clouds that look like cotton. So the director pans down, and we start zooming in on the flora. The trees are filled with fresh, light green leaves.
New growth.
Right. And then we zoom in further down to the micro level, the specific flowers. We aren't just seeing springtime blur, we're seeing red and yellow tulips. And my absolute favorite detail, the observer specifically notices white daisies, but zeroes in on their yellow centers.
It's so specific.
It is, but I mean, I have to play devil's advocate for a second here.
Go for it.
We've all seen a daisy. Is looking at the yellow center of a flower really going to radically alter my mental state?
Well, what's fascinating here is how those specific visual cues immediately establish a mental baseline of happiness and new life.
Really? Just the colors?
Yes. Even before we engage the other senses. Think about it from an evolutionary standpoint. Fresh, light green leaves, vibrant red and yellow tulips. These signify a resource-rich environment.
Oh, like my brain sees green and thinks we're going to survive the winter.
Exactly. Your brain is receiving high-fidelity confirmation of vitality. And remember that wide shot you mentioned, the bright but not burning sun?
Yeah.
That temperate weather tells your nervous system it's safe. You aren't bracing against freezing wind, and you aren't squinting against harsh heat. Your body's defense systems can power down.
Oh, wow. So your energy can be redirected to just observing.
Precisely. You are feeding your brain visual evidence of a thriving ecosystem.
I love that. And that thriving feeling isn't just in the plants. The source pulls our focus over to the walking path itself. And this is interesting. They highlight that it is a smooth, gray, mud-free path.
Mud-free is a big deal.
Right. And on this smooth path, we see a really diverse cast of characters. We've got a mother pushing a stroller, a jogger passing by, a young girl riding a bicycle, and the source makes a very specific point to call her a smart girl because she's wearing a helmet.
I love that detail.
Me too. And off to the side, two old friends are talking on a bench. Oh, and darting through this whole scene is a very happy, fast-running, small brown dog.
It's just a perfect cross-section of a healthy community.
It really is. But I want to go back to the path for a second. Why does the mud-free path matter so much? Because to me, it's almost like your brain's cognitive RAM is usually overloaded by city living.
Right, avoiding puddles, watching for cars.
Exactly. So when you step onto that smooth, predictable path, your brain suddenly has all this freed up bandwidth. Is that why the observer can suddenly notice the helmet on the little girl or the fact that the dog is happy?
You've hit the nail on the head. That's exactly it. When you aren't staring at your feet, making sure you don't trip or step in mud, your posture physically changes. You look up. And when you look up, you see the mother, the old friends, the responsible kid. You are witnessing other humans and animals peacefully coexisting. It signals to your mammalian brain that the area is safe.
Okay, so we have this incredibly vibrant, safe, visual landscape, perfectly painted, but the visuals are only half the story.
Not even half, really.
True. We have to talk about the auditory landscape because, a park isn't a silent movie.
No, it has a very specific soundtrack.
Right, and the sources map this out so well. Let's transition from the wide visuals to the big macro sounds. The observer hears the loud, distinct chirping of birds.
The classic park sound.
Yeah, and layered under that is a soft wind moving through those light green leaves, making this rhythmic, like a sh sound.
Oh, that's incredibly soothing.
It is. Add to that the sound of children laughing near a playground and the really relaxing shh of a water fountain nearby.
Water falling is just universally recognized by the human nervous system as relaxing.
It really masks everything else. Which brings me to the microsounds. Amidst the birds and the water, the observer starts to actually hear their own footsteps on that gray path. Step, step, step.
They're tuning in.
Yeah, and they hear their own breathing. They describe it as slow and easy. And then there's a sudden bizz of a working bee right nearby.
That was so immersive.
But here's the critical detail, the absence that makes all of this possible. There is absolutely no sound of cars.
None at all.
Because the park is far enough from the street. But I want to push on this. Is it the sheer absence of cars and city noise that actually allows us the mental space to hear our own breathing and footsteps?
Well, if we connect this to the bigger picture, it's a literal physiological signal of relaxation.
How so?
Think about our normal environment. We live in a world dominated by mechanical noise, sirens, engines, construction.
That constant hum of the city.
Right. And those sounds are jarring. They keep us on high alert. But when you remove those mechanical sounds and replace them with rhythmic, natural sounds like the shh of the wind, the water, your own footsteps, it acts as a signal to your nervous system.
Like telling it to power down.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It tells your body to stop producing stress hormones. You shift from mechanical noise to biological noise.
And that's why they can finally hear their own slow, easy breathing.
Yes. They are completely relaxed.
So by simply tuning out the city, we physically instruct our bodies to downshift.
Wow.
Okay, so we've covered the distant senses, sight and sound. Those pull the environment into our awareness from afar.
Right, from a distance.
But now we need to transition to the intimate senses, the ones that ground the experience directly to the physical body, smell and touch.
This is a really crucial transition because you can look at a tree from a mile away, but smell and touch require physical proximity.
You have to be in it?
Exactly.
Yeah.
You are directly interacting with the physical properties of the space.
And the scentscape in our source is just vivid. First, they smell the sweet, soft flowers. The source specifically compares the scent to perfume.
Natural perfume.
Right. And then there's the grass, not damp earth, but fresh, dry, green grass, because they note there is no rain today. And enveloping all of this is clean air, zero smoke, no bad smells.
When you remove the urban exhaust, the subtle botanical scents finally have space to register.
But here's where it gets really interesting. Right in the middle of these ethereal, clean botanical smells, the observer suddenly smells something totally different.
What is it?
Bread and cheese.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. They realize someone nearby is having a picnic. And instantly, this smell makes them incredibly hungry. It completely shifts the entire dynamic of the walk.
That is brilliant. It's a grounding disruption.
A grounding disruption. I like that.
Yeah, because you're having this solitary, inward-focused nature retreat, right?
Right.
Smelling the flowers, listening to the wind, and suddenly the smell of someone else's bread and cheese tethers you back to humanity.
It makes it a shared human experience.
Yeah, exactly. You are occupying the same sensory space as those people. And it triggers that raw biological imperative hunger. It pulls you out of your head and puts you firmly back in your body.
Which perfectly sets up the tactile feelings, the physical sensations on the skin. Going back to that sun, the observer feels the warm sun on their arms and face, and they compare it to a soft blanket.
A soft blanket. That's a great image.
And counteracting that warmth is a cool wind on the back of their neck. Beneath their shoes, the ground feels hard and stable, but still comfortable to walk on.
Notice the equilibrium there.
What do you mean?
The warmth of the sun is balanced by the coolness of the wind. The unyielding, hard path is balanced by the comfortable walking. The environment is perfectly regulating your tactile experience. You're in a state of homeostasis.
Your body isn't fighting to warm up or cool down.
Exactly.
And so the culmination of all this, the warm sun, the sweet smells, the clean air, the rhythmic breathing, the source says the physical result is feeling simply happy.
Which makes perfect biological sense.
But also feeling what they call a, quote, good tired. And I think anyone who sits at a desk all day needs to hear this distinction.
Oh, absolutely.
Because when I close my laptop at 6 p.m., I am exhausted, but it is definitely not a good tired.
Right, because staring at a screen causes cognitive depletion. Your brain is fried from artificial stimuli, but your body hasn't moved.
I mean, just stagnant.
Yes. The good tired from the park is the exact opposite. Your muscles have worked, your body has experienced rhythmic exertion, but your mind has rested. It's a nourished fatigue.
A nourished fatigue. I really, really love that phrasing. So, okay, we've broken down this massive tapestry of macro and microsensory inputs. The colors, sounds, smells, the sun on the skin.
The whole symphony.
Right, but how does this all converge? Our source explores this by focusing on what they call small moments. And this is where we get into some incredibly actionable advice for you, the listener.
Because it's one thing to walk through a park, it's another to actually bear witness to it.
Exactly. The source describes this deliberate pause. The observer decides to stop for just 1 minute. Just 1 minute. And they sit down on a bench under a big tree.
Just stopping forward momentum.
Yes. And in that paused state, they observe two micro-events. First, they spot a monarch butterfly, orange and black, flying from flower to flower. And they see it as a symbol of freedom and new life.
The macro environment fades to the background, and this tiny butterfly becomes the focal point.
Right. And then right after that, they spot a squirrel. A fast, busy little squirrel running up a tree with a nut in its mouth. Total contrast to the floating butterfly.
Industrious versus delicate.
Yeah. And after taking in these two small moments, the observer does one physical thing. They take a massive, deep inhale of that good air. Just a long, audible...
Pulling the whole environment into their lungs.
Exactly. So what does this all mean? Like for you listening right now, dealing with your commute or your inbox, the source doesn't just leave us with a nice story about a squirrel.
No, there's homework.
Yes, practical homework. The assignment is to go outside for just 10 minutes today and practice a sensory countdown. It's the 3-2-1 exercise.
This is a great tool.
You find 3 things you see, 2 things you hear, and 1 thing you smell. But the absolute key here, and I think this is so interesting, is you have to say them out loud. Like,
Right.
Quote, I see a bird, I hear wind, I smell flowers.
Now, this raises an important question.
Which is?
Why do we have to vocalize it? Why can't we just think it in our heads? The source offers some profound wisdom here. Practice makes progress.
Practice makes progress. I like that.
Truly noticing the world is an active skill. You have to intentionally use your eyes, your ears, your nose, your skin, and as the source beautifully adds, your heart.
But why speak the words out loud?
When you just think about what you see, your internal anxieties can easily hijack the thought, oh, I see a tree, which reminds my yard needs mowing, which reminds me I'm out of money.
I know I do that all the time.
Right. But speech requires motor function. By forcing yourself to articulate the data out loud, you override that mental chatter. You physically ground yourself in the undeniable present.
It's like you are manually tuning the dial on your own sensory receiver to cut through the static.
Exactly. You're locking onto the frequency of right now.
That makes total sense. And it just proves that a simple stroll is actually this complex, beautiful sensory symphony, provided you walk slowly and actually pay attention.
The music is always playing.
Yeah.
You just have to listen to the instruments.
Because if you rush through the park staring at your phone, you miss the whole concert. You miss the yellow centers of the daisies, the psh of the fountain, the sunny smell of the bread and cheese.
You miss the butterfly, the busy squirrel.
You completely miss the joy.
And the joy is there. It just requires active participation.
Well, looking ahead, our source material mentions that the next step in this seasonal exploration is taking this joy into our diets.
Oh, I'm excited for this.
Yeah, taking the mindfulness from the park into the kitchen by exploring favorite spring foods. Specifically, they tease an upcoming discussion about fresh strawberries and lemonade.
It's the perfect logical progression. We've done sight, sound, smell, and touch. Taste is the final frontier.
I'm already looking forward to unpacking that. But for now, as we wrap up today's deep dive, I want to leave you with a provocative thought to mull over as you go about your day.
Give it to us.
We started by talking about how much money we spend trying to simulate high-definition, relaxing experiences, but we just proved that a simple 10-minute walk can yield this much rich, joy-inducing sensory data if we actually pay attention.
So true.
So here's the question you need to ask yourself today. If a simple 10-minute walk can be this complex and beautiful, what other mundane daily routines are you rushing through, completely blind and numb to the details right in front of you?
A powerful question to carry with you.
What other high-definition experiences are you missing simply because you forgot to look? Until next time.